Hello and welcome to Next Week Now. I'm your host for the evening, Davis Grant. First, I would like to thank the producers of the show for agreeing to let me back on the show, especially since the Valentine's Day attempted gangbang. I'd also like to express my appreciation for letting me host the season finale. What's that? This isn't the season finale? I thought you guys needed me. Okay. Let's move on to our predictions. In a recent interview, an actor in the popular John Wick series proposed that the films could continue for another decade at least. While we will wait to reserve judgment until after the third one comes out, we here at Next Week Now figured we've got a pretty good idea of what the next few films will look like. After running out of original film plots, the filmmakers will begin releasing sequels such as Bill and Ted 3, The Tubular Continental Hotel, Constantine 2, not in the DC universe, Point Break 3, ignore the remake, and John Wick 4, XX Excommunicado. The last of which includes a surprise post-credits scene where Lawrence Fishburne comes out of the shadows wearing an eye patch and says, "We're putting together a team." These all lead up to the perfect ensemble film that we think will go something like this. It'll probably open with a shot of John Wick's dog sitting peacefully at the foot of his bed. He has finally killed every single person who wanted him dead and is retired once and for all. Suddenly, a bus flies past his house, going top speed with no signs of slowing, so he jumps into his Mustang and chases it down. After doing a rad jump from his speeding car onto the bus, he discovers that the driver is none other than Bill S. Preston, Esquire. Bill explains to John that his friend, Ted, who looks shockingly like a younger John Wick, and him were kidnapped by the devil and forced to drive this bus at top speed, or else they'd be killed by demons. Suddenly, a man named John Constantine, who looks like John Wick but with shorter hair, arrives to stop the devilish plot using his supernatural powers. Once Constantine's rescue occurs, Bill and Ted step off the stop bus and take a deep breath. John Wick looks at John Constantine and Ted as black and green lines flash around his head and says, "You're like me." That's right, this is John Wick into the Keanu-verse, also known as the Revengers. Now, we won't spoil too much of the film, but... What? Oh, that is correct. This film will never happen, so we can say whatever we want. Well, our ragtag gang of Keanus end up teaming up with undercover FBI agent Johnny Utah, also played by Keanu Reeves, who tells them that a bunch of banks have recently been robbed and he needs their various expertises to stop the crime wave before it reaches Point Break. It turns out the robberies have all been done by one man. The witnesses swear they've seen him in multiple places at once, leading our keen crew to be highly suspicious of the current situation. After meeting Buddha in a part supernatural, part time travel vision, the keen crew begin to understand that the world they inhabit is but one of many, or none at all. It is at this moment that an army of identical men, all named Agent Smith, bursts down the door of their midsummer hideout, and John Wick wakes up. His dog is still at the end of his bed, but the rest of his doppelgangers are no longer with him. He lays back down, but as he does, he sees himself from earlier, racing outside to stop the bus. John Wick wakes up again to the silky voice of Lawrence Fishburne, telling him that everything he knows is a lie. His dog disappears, and John Wick sees nothing but green lies running past his eyes. Baba Yaga is now coming for Agent Smith. Roll credits. The KCU, the Keanu Cinematic Universe, is expected to last as long as Keanu Reeves does, which, if previous trends of his age continue, will be forever. Now, I'm sick of talking about all these Hollywood liberals with their political agendas like help the homeless, the world is dying, quit preying on vulnerable college girls. Let's move on from talking about these stupid movie celebrities and now talk about television celebrities. Kim Kardashian West was in the news as she plans on a new career path. The multi-millionaire graced the cover of Vogue, declaring she decided to become a lawyer. Not far from a 6-year-old deciding she actually doesn't want to be a veterinarian anymore. She'd rather be a princess. Actually, it's the exact opposite. Following in the footsteps of her father and famed defense attorney of O.J., the Juice Simpson, Robert Kardashian, the one that died, not the one that had a baby with Black China, to remind the world that he still exists, Kim will be taking up the law. Now, you may wonder, why the sudden interest in law? Well, this may answer that for you. Ray J's former co-star has been quoted saying, like, how can you do that? To the fire that burned down the Notre Dame Cathedral. That's funny. That's the second time I've heard that today. The first was right before the show when the producers walked in on me beating it to High School Musical 3, senior year. Before Kim can represent in the court of law, she'll have to pass the bar, which is actually easier than you'd expect, considering she thinks passing the bar means walking past the club Tristan frequently cheated on Khloe at. Kim K has been met with questioning on her new career choice, considering she never even finished college. Many wonder, how will she even be able to take the bar without a law degree? Well, apparently under California state law, future law students can bypass the system by paying lots of fees, which are totally not hush money, and apprenticing under a practicing lawyer. Who would have known anything is possible with privilege and copious amounts of money? I did. I've had 7 sexual assault of minor accusations and 0 charges. Brock Turner's lawyer really is something. Now, as Kim revs up to take the bar and definitely not participate in a far-fetched college cheating scandal, she may be needing a purposeful cause to motivate her studies. Next Week Now predicts that once Kiki passes the bar, she will dedicate her position to correcting a subject that plagues humankind, the ocean. That's right. Pollution, overfishing, and other environmental issues are not what we're talking about. In fact, Kim's problem with the ocean will be entirely based on previous experiences that gave her some, like, seriously bad vibes, which is a phrase most of the freshman girls use when I try to pick them up at their dorm. We're talking about the diamond earring that the ocean stole from her. With the law in her head and lost diamonds in her heart, Kim will sue the ocean for theft as it oh so wrongly took her earring from her on that fateful day in Bora Bora. After making her beautifully worded case like, you put me in such an uncomfortable position. I'm not happy. I'm trying to see if it will work out here, and I know it's not. The ocean will politely give back Kim's $75,000 earring, and Kim will drop the case, just like the courts did for me 7 times. All will be well in Kim's world, and she'll put away her court shoes forever as she completely forgets Courtney's wife's words. Kim, there are people dying. Now, we'll be back with more predictions, but first, have fun watching our pure-blooded Aryan boys talking to the UT student population on a couch.